another episode of RocTalk. This will be episode 2, but you were saying to me earlier we're going to have a theme like we did on the first one.
Sure.
We got a couple of special guests with us on this RocTalk. What the fuck? You guys go to the back of the class.
We messed up our seating order. Sorry, sorry.
Oh my God. I don't think it matters. Anyway, we got a couple of guests with us this RocTalk episode. We got Dave Clayton, who I like to call Razzie, and I haven't heard how you felt about me calling you that. I call you Razzie because of the paparazzi. You take excellent pictures.
The first question he asks after he tells me not to swear.
Right.
I'll get back to you.
Okay, let me know. And we got Hooch here, Adrian Phillips, Mr. Hooch. And so we're just going to shoot the crap and see what we can come up with here. Maybe we can start by talking about it's spring, man. We're all ready to ride.
Yeah, I was on a ride today.
Yep. Where'd you go today?
We went out to, I met Paul Chappell and Harold.
Oh, to be retired.
Marilyn and Warren up at Mosport, and then we headed out and had lunch at Rhino's out in Udley.
Cool.
And then
Beautiful
they were heading down. They were going to do the lakeshore run that we done with you there.
Yeah.
They were doing that coming home. All the dirt out that way.
Oh yeah. Lakeshore, they don't clean Lakeshore, man. You gotta wait for a real good rain. A few of them.
And I got off at Dale Road, which is number 2, and I brought that in and stopped at Barry's and said hello and watched him working on his bike, and then I came home.
Yeah, I just put the pipes back on my bike today and put a heat shield on and changed over to synthetic oil. That's all I did. So I still got a bit of work to do to it before we're up and running.
Let's go synthetic.
I don't know. I heard the motor runs a little cooler and it's easier when it's cold out to start it because it doesn't get as thick.
So I got synthetic in mine.
I got Ames oil and it was 2050. So that's what I talked to Bill at Motor City and he said it shouldn't be a problem to change it over. So I went ahead and did that.
1040 is more common than a 2050.
Yeah, not an air-cooled bike.
Right.
Air cooled.
Now, what about your bike?
I'm Ames oil, synthetic.
No, but are you out and running?
I wouldn't call it running. I'm not retired, so no, I'm not running. I got to work for a living too, right? Anyway, no, I've been out a couple of times. Little short runs here and there. Nothing spectacular. Enough to see if there's any quirks that I got to work out on the bike and see if there's anything I need to fix and how the brakes feel and how does this feel.
Yep.
Just to get her up and going, right? So I've taken a few boots around. I've been up to the port a couple times. I've been around town and moving around, checking the brakes out. She's running good. Well, I did an oil change on it like 3 weeks ago.
Good. Well, you know how it is with the Hondas. You got to work them in before you get them going real good in the summer. Not like us guys with the Harleys.
Well, it takes you to the end of the summer before it starts to get work in, right?
And the shit started.
And you start putting it back together.
We're like, 4 minutes in and the shit.
For the record, I'm not the one that started it.
Oh yeah, for the record, who did start
You were going to. That's why I jumped in. So,
look, we got North Korea over here.
now you are doing a complete, massive overhaul. So,
Yeah, I'm doing a Joan Rivers.
I know you want to keep it under the covers a bit so people can see it and it'll be real.
Well,
when they
everybody's
see
seen
it.
pictures of the bags and stuff that I'm putting on it.
I hope it looks better than Joe.
What have you actually done?
Everything's done, ready for paint. Right? It's just a matter of
What have you done?
well,
What have you done to the bike?
turning it into a bagger.
Okay,
Right?
cool.
There's a whole new rear end, brand new fender, bags that mold right into the fender and that. Shortening up the shocks a little bit. I don't want to give everything away.
No.
There's a bunch of paint work going into it that it's going to be a bit of a surprise.
Are you painting it yourself?
Me and Hammer.
Cool.
Yeah, actually, it turns out an old buddy of his, another old retired millwright guy, his garage, he built a friggin' paint booth right on the back of it.
Oh, is
and
that
he's got
right?
the exhaust fans and the filters on the windows and everything, so it's perfect.
Well,
Now, are any of the 3 is any airbrushers?
I wish.
You'll probably save yourself
Not
about
gonna be
$5 grand.
a mural or anything like
I
that.
wish.
It's just a paint.
Like I tried to talk my buddy Sean into it, but he's a tattoo guy, but he doesn't do
Airbrush and the guns are a little different.
I argued with him. Hey, McRae's gonna be watching this, you putz. Hey, don't swear. You
You can swear, but not too much, because I gotta bleep it out.
I know. But yeah, no, he swears it's 2 completely different things, and you can't do the other.
Yeah, no, they're a little
Yeah.
different.
So that's it. Yeah, it'll become rolling out. Whole new color, whole new design. Bagger dropped a little bit. Got armrests for Lizzie, so when she
Nice.
falls asleep, she won't. fall right off
She's
the
gonna
bike.
love that all the
important
way.
shit, man.
It is.
Yeah,
And
who's
honestly-
gonna make your breakfast the next day?
Yeah, well, it hasn't been too bad with Lizzie, but my buddy Rob with his wife Trace,
Oh, boy.
she literally nearly has fallen off the bike a couple times.
Falling asleep.
Yeah, well,
That's crazy.
on the Chantry ride last year, she nearly took a bird in the head and never knew about it.
Well, it's a good thing she was sleeping or she would have taken the bird day.
Yeah, I think she got woken up by Rob laughing about the bird nearly
That's-
smacking her.
You know
in the
what,
head.
like, I think with, and I might be wrong, but I think, Wolfie, like with his legs and stuff, you know, all those problems he had,
Yeah.
he had an accident on the way home from, I believe, out west. And I think it's because he fell asleep as he was riding.
He was doing an iron butt ride, I think.
And I couldn't believe how anybody could fall asleep on a motorcycle.
Oh, you can.
Sure it
And then
happens.
I went out west, I went down east there last year by myself, and man, you're just driving along and then you're like, and then now
Get
you're
tired,
yelling
eh?
at yourself, you're talking to yourself,
Well, I
you're
find
turning
it-
up the radio, you're turning down, like I would pull over and just have a couple of smokes and read a map. Not even, like I know where I am, and I got
Right.
my Garmin and shit, and I know what's going on, but I'm just reading the map, getting my mind doing
I'm
something.
sure
Disengaged from the road and
Yeah,
put it
like,
into
and
focusing
doing
something else,
something
for
different.
It's not much worse on your bike too when you're that comfortable and you got that kind of wind protection.
Yeah,
Well,
and it
I was
just
about to say, it's
go
the
into
cold
a-
too. The
Yeah.
cold can actually numb you out. Last year I had, not an episode, but I think I had my closest experience to being really tired while riding. I never thought I would ever experience that like yourself. How can you do that, right? You're in the
Right.
wind. No, I started, you know, the eyes start clacking back and forth and you start getting lazy and you start thinking and you're getting caught up in your own head.
Right.
And it's like, you know what, it's time to pull over.
Yeah.
And that's when you get a coffee, you sit down, you strip down, whatever you got to do to get it going, and
Not
take
naked,
a
I
rest.
hope.
Huh?
Not naked. but-
Oh no, whatever floats your boat, man. But yeah.
If that's the case, I
Yeah.
won't be going on
No,
any
but
long rides.
what I'm saying though is that it's the colder weather, so you have a jacket on. You got to at least get the cold out of that jacket and then bring the warmth back into yourself, right?
So folks,
But-
if you get tired on your bike, don't push it.
Oh.
Get off your
Get off
bike
the road.
and take a break. Even have a nap.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
a danger enough.
you're hurting
dangerous
yourself
enough
and you can be
thing.
hurting somebody else as well in the process. So no, it's just as bad as
Let's
drinking. and
touch
driving.
on the HHR ride. They were in a bit of trouble with
Oshawa City Council.
Oshawa City Council. They got sent a bill. Now everybody knows this story and it's old news, so we're just going to touch on it lightly and say congratulations to the HHR for what they've accomplished. They're all amazing the way they presented themselves. Trapper Kane, sorry, he presented himself in quite an eloquent manner by also telling the council that they were heroes for what they do as well. And it was an amazing thing to be there. It was amazing that the bill was zeroed out. So it was something to see.
Well, everyone's got a job to do, right? So
Yeah.
Trapper Kane focused on that and make sure that nobody's really having a finger pointed at them. Let's just do what's right and get it done.
Yeah,
It was sad that, like the mayor said at the end there, the threats were coming in and that.
Well,
It was
yeah.
sad that their patriotism was ever questioned in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, throughout the entire thing, the fundamental problem was that putting a price on it in the first place was,
Right, absolutely.
the act of doing that was the unpatriotic.
Why are we here
That was the
anyways?
unpatriotic element. I
Yeah.
wasn't questioning the patriotism of the people in the council. Like, they're not a council full of commies, obviously,
Well,
right?
and then to be fair about it, like, whenever a bill isn't collected, like whenever somebody doesn't pay a bill, it automatically goes to collection.
Right.
And collection does their job, like when it comes to them, they do their job.
Sure, legally.
So unaware to council, like in all fairness to them, they might be a little bit unaware as well, or all of them weren't brought up.
There shouldn't have been a
to speed
debt
on
in the first
Nobody's
place.
innocent.
Right. Exactly what Dave said.
Shouldn't have been a debt in the first place.
And you know what? The threats to the council members is pretty shitty too.
Absolutely.
That should not be necessary.
I don't think anybody I know or anybody that I ride with would go as far as threatening somebody's good health.
Well, anyway, if it did happen, it's pretty crappy that happened. It's not what we're about, and we don't represent that at all.
Or author, or
And none of us
we
do,
don't
so-
condone it.
It reinforces that stereotype.
They-
That's
you
the
know what?
worst part.
That's
of
the
it,
worst
you know?
part.
We
Make
got a
it
bunch
worse.
of bikers showing up, and here we are with threats and all this stuff. And that's probably exactly what they were thinking when we walked in. But thanks to everybody who sat down and conducted themselves very well.
Right.
You know, except for Cheryl farting all over the place and Jill making fun of everybody. It was great. Yeah.
Well,
Was that not the?
That was ridiculous.
Hey, it was
Like, I
ridiculous,
looked at-
but
I
we
looked
all
at-
did it.
Yeah.
I looked at Trapper and he looked at me and we both were like our faces were going like, seriously?
I know,
man?"
right?
Green too.
I think it was Shirley Temple movie.
Well, they didn't mind the applause at the end, the council.
Well, even the
even
mayor
the
got
mayor-
in on it.
even the
Even the
mayor
mayor got in on it.
So,
So congrats guys. Good
yeah,
job,
congrats.
well done.
We
Cheers.
touched on
In the
that.
end, it all worked out for the right, you know, for the best.
And that much more publicity for this
You know what? It's not about Lou. It's not about Trapper Kane. These guys are messengers for the troops and for the troops' families, the fallen and the ones that come back
Oh,
and
Kerry
try
was
to
there.
survive and go on. That's who it's for and what it's about. That's what they're representing. That's the beauty thing about it.
And look at Kerry, who rode in from friggin' Trenton to be there.
In the rain.
Yeah.
Pretty shredded, wasn't it?
They were soaking wet too.
Oh, do you think?
And they rode home.
And they were offered a few places to stay, and they turned it down and rode home. So, and it was raining when they left as well. So,
Now,
What about
is that
the Thunder?
Is
What
that the
about the-
lady that was on the back
that
of the
not
blue
the
Harley
Blue
there?
Harley?
Yeah.
That just
Yeah.
signed up on
Yeah.
HD-ROC?
what about the
Okay.
thunder that was happening at the time?
That
See,
was-
I saw some of the council members, including John Henry, the mayor, looking around like, "What is this?"
The gods.
The gods were smoking. They were singing, yeah.
It kind of dawned on me though in the middle of it. I said this a million times to Liz and that, but to me, I found it kind of poetic at the
It
end. I
was.
was like, you know what? If you remember that day in 2011, Adrian wasn't riding that day. Didn't have his bike.
No, I was in the.
So he came down. He's been to 2 HHRs already, and he didn't even have a bike. He came down that day to support us, to support the troops, and take part in the festivities in Oshawa and all that stuff. Thank God he did, because Liz needed a friggin' dry sweater like nobody's business.
Right.
And to stay in the van with the heat on for a bit. But no, it was kind of like, if you remember what we looked like and what we felt like when we climbed off the bikes in Oshawa that
Rats.
day. And then we go into city council to close that whole chapter, and the skies opened up again. It was almost a full circle, poetic justice kind of.
There was
moment.
aura there.
Yeah,
There was
I'd
something.
like to see a dry HHR this year, though.
A dry one.
that
You
would
know,
be
like
good.
no
Well,
rain and so
even
dry.
last year was
at the rate that it's going right now, but rain
It wasn't soaking wet.
Not nearly as bad, but it was wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dry would be good. Lou, you put that on the.
Agenda?
If you're gonna make a call, make a call.
Train kind services.
We ain't paying for
But
something.
All right. Let's talk about now. You have a lupus ride coming up,
I do.
and your wife has lupus,
She does.
and you put your heart and soul into this, and
I
a lot
have.
more hard work and sweat. And I want to touch on that for a bit and talk about your sponsors and how much work you've done on this ride.
Well,
It's the first year.
It's the inaugural, June 22nd, 2013, is the Durham Ride Against Lupus. This has been a huge part of my life since probably September, October of last year, where we were all sitting around at Rhino's, as a matter of fact. We were at Rhino's having lunch. It seems a lot of good ideas come out of Rhino's, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of good ideas come out of a ride.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go for a ride and people start talking and you start thinking and you start, rambling on and making things happen, and all of a sudden you come up with something. And we came up with this ride, the ride against lupus. And I mean, Jen F. Grave out in Guelph, she's doing a thing for the ride for lupus. We're doing the ride against lupus. Hers is May 11th, ours is June 22nd, so it's relatively around the same time. It's a month apart. We were gonna do it together, but I figured, you know what? She can do it east, we can do, or she can do it west, we can do it east. We get more draw this way, right? More people get to
Absolutely.
know what
There's
this is
lots of
about.
HD
It's about
rockers.
awareness.
Lots of HD rockers going to Jen's ride, and lots going to yours.
There's a lot of HD-ROC in the Hammertown, right? So they're gonna go up there and say hi too. There's a lot of people from the east going down there to say hi as well, I'm sure. Yeah, anyhow, June 22nd, it became a very important date in our life, and only for this ride. This ride has become such a focus in my home. Everything I've got has got something to do with Lupus Ontario, or the Lupus Ontario, or the Durham Ride Against Lupus, or our sponsors calling, or I'm calling sponsors. Everything. My kids stay away from me because all I got is lupus on the brain, kind of thing. I'm going loopy myself, right?
Last week, we've been doing all the hotels for people coming from.
Well, you know what? There's gonna be people coming from all over the place. So we got some Ottawa friends coming down. We got some Midland friends coming down. I got people from Chatham coming over. They're gonna need a place to stay. I can't, board everybody.
No.
I wish I could, but I've got a house full as it is with the kids and the family.
Sure.
Yeah, we're doing. I talked to a lot of bike-friendly motels. The hotels, when you're sitting up in a Renaissance or something like that, it's beautiful. You got all the luxuries you want, room service, all nice. But my bike is 10 floors down there, and is not close enough for me to touch. And I like to be close to my bike, so I got hotel-friendly, bike-friendly hotels is what
Good.
I've got. So you can walk out your front door. Oh, I forgot something on my bike. You grab it, or if it starts to rain, you can pull your bike under the little canopy in front of your door. Everything is geared about being bike friendly, because I know how I am. I don't want to leave my bike anywhere. I will not leave my bike unattended. If I cannot see it,
Right.
I won't leave it there for any extended period of time.
Let's talk about Christine now. She has lupus,
Yes.
so that's been an ongoing thing with you since
Yeah.
you've been married to her.
It started off as a cutaneous lupus. It was a skin irritation, a skin lupus. It came out with a rash on her face, and that's how we found out what direction she was going in. And just in the last little while, when she went back for another appointment, it got diagnosed as systemic lupus, where it's actually gone inside now and attacking the organs.
Terrible.
We're quite fortunate. It's not as aggressive with her. I'm hoping it's not as aggressive with her as it is with some of the other people that I've seen.
Okay.
Lupus is a nasty thing. People don't fare well when they get lupus, and to stay strong and to keep moving, to keep working, to keep active in the house, and
And steroids become part of your life.
well, prednisone.
Yeah.
We try to keep away from the prednisone because the prednisone was really bad.
Yeah.
And they dose you, and they overdose you, and they overdose you, and overdose you with more prednisones. Prednisone's not a good thing.
Right.
But she's on another med right now that keeps her on an even keel, and that keeps the flare-ups are held at a
Well,
minimum.
we're glad to hear that, and we're proud that you have this ride.
No, I appreciate it.
Now, Dave's secondhand man on your ride, correct?
Yes, sir.
No, I made a few pretty pictures. The logos, you got the best logos and t-shirts.
We do. We got a lot of giveaways too that's going on for this.
So let's
this
talk
ride.
about your sponsors.
Sponsors. Well,
Very important.
I got a lot of people.
Roots
that
out
are-
to the sponsors.
Very much. Mackie, GP, Royal, Honda, everybody. Thank you. I mean, because
That's awesome.
without them, really, I'd have nothing to give these people because I can't give it out of my pocket. And these guys are stepping up to the plate. Canadian Home Leisure, all these companies are stepping up to the plate and giving us stuff to give to these people. Wow Wings, putting on the wings and the barbecue, and Canadian Wholesale Canada, Wholesale Canada. They're giving us ground beef, man. They're giving us 100 pounds of ground beef so I can make burgers for everybody.
That's
Pennies.
awesome.
That's what we're gonna be doing.
That's great. You have a band.
We do have a band, Fire and Water.
Beautiful.
Wow, man, I can't speak high enough about this band. Paul McKeating has come together for us, and he's got his band together, and he's saying, listen, we're going to do this for this day, and we're going to do it pro bono. This is for you guys, right?
And where's all that going to happen?
This is going to happen at the Giant Tiger parking lot in Whitby, 601 Dundas Street. And if you've ever heard rockin' blues, sizzling rockin' blues, you like Johnny Lang, you like Pat Travers, you like Colin James,
Nice.
ZZ Top,
Eric
Neil
Clapton.
Young,
Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton. You've got such a smorgasbord of rock and blues music that's going to be happening that day.
That's great.
It's going to be like an orgasm.
They've got videos on YouTube too if you want to hear the
They do
band.
have videos on YouTube.
And that's Fire and Water?
Fire and Water.
They're
Fire in Water. Fire and Water.
Fire and Water.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, great band. And you're going to see that day.
We're looking forward to going on that
Good,
ride.
good.
And I'm proud of you for doing that. And
Thank you.
I know it's a lot of work, and you've been putting a lot of hours into
It was more work than I first anticipated. I thought, you know what, this is going to be
Especially
fun.
when you're,
And it is
especially when
fun.
your secondhand man does F all.
You know what? If I said, you know what? You want to call my second-hand man, whatever. I'm doing this on my own. I'm trying my best to do it on my own. If there's something that I need someone to do for me, they've stepped up to the plate. Dave, with his skills on the computer and graphics and everything else, he stepped up and he's helped me out. You guys with the HD-ROC room, you guys are stepping up. Harley, Mackie, GP, everybody, they're all stepping up. Everybody stepped up, and I'm really, I'm humbled beyond
Good
me.
for you,
Like
man.
it's unreal how
for you.
much people have stepped up and said, you know what, let's do this. Let's help this guy. Let's help these people, because it's not me. Right? It's about the people who have lupus.
Right.
It's about the people who face this shit every single day. Because it's not just the people that have the lupus. They got the worst of the front. They got the worst of the whole deal. But everybody else in the family and everybody else around them suffers from the same,
Absolutely.
It's just, they try to help. They try to do what they can do to make things comfortable. And it's tough. But
All you need now is for them to show up.
all of you, please join us. June 22nd, 2013, Durham Ride Against Lupus.
I don't think you'll be disappointed.
You will not be
You won't be
disappointed.
The
disappointed.
Giant Tiger lot, 2 blocks west of 12 on 2 in Whitby.
Exactly, 601 Dundas.
There you go.
Where are you going?
I'll be back.
You can't just get up in the middle of filming a rock and then split, man. What the hell?
Be back.
Okay, let's, where the hell did Savvy go?
I think he's taking a leak.
Savvy?
There he is.
I'm back.
What
You guys
the-
still talking?
Man, oh man.
Right out of things to talk about.
Well, I went down to get us a pizza. I took Hooch's van and ran out of gas. I got the school here.
So
I just
some of
got
the
back.
so some of the school kids pushed you back.
Well, I know it's all the money he's put into the
Loop.
ride is the lupus. The ride against lupus, he didn't put no gas in the tank.
There you go.
Forgot again.
Hey man, we have an event coming up here which is pretty cool. It's the second annual toaster run. You started that run, right?
Well, not really. It was last year. Our coffee machine broke. That's all, and that's it.
And you can't live without coffee.
You go, not at my house. No way. So yeah, there's this place I discovered when I was driving truck down in Picton there, right in the town there. It's a Hamilton Beach factory. They make the coffee machines and everything else down there. Toaster ovens, pizza ovens, deep fryers, you name it. They make everything down there. So I'd stop in there and buy. You can buy a coffee machine that costs $100 at the Bay for $15. So why wouldn't you, right? So anyway, I was talking to Lauren. I said, look, I got to make a run down to Picton. Feel like going for a ride.
And you put a post in HD-ROC?
Yeah. After I
Okay.
talked to Lauren, I was like, we're
And
gonna.
I said, hey, I need a deep fryer.
Yeah. Do they have deep fryers? Is your food like they do? They got everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Away we go. So we put it on Facebook, and Wolfie jumped in, and Tig jumped in, and my buddy Hammer jumped in, and is that it?
I'm pretty sure that's all that was.
Did everybody buy like a toaster
Yeah.
or an oven or something and have it on
everybody
the
bought
back of the? That's awesome.
Well, I think Tig bought a 4-slicer, and so,
Big bad
and I
bikers.
think what started that they needed a toaster. Wolfie and Tig both needed a toaster, and we were in the little store there, and I says, no, don't get a toaster, get a 4-slicer, man. At this price, you gotta
Go
get
big or go home.
Well, then it turned into like the 4-slicer thing, right?
Step up, eh?
It was a lot. It was a good day. Beautiful weather, beautiful ride.
Toasty.
It was great.
Toasty. It was just.
Yeah.
Toaster. So now Wolfie has gone ahead and started the second annual toaster,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
There's an event in HD-ROC for that.
Yeah, we started joking around, like everybody started jumping on board, and I was like, holy crap, it's toaster day, and Wolfie's like, that's great. Next thing you know, we have a toaster day.
Yeah, you have a
So
toaster.
What day is it on?
I don't
It's
know.
on
May the
Wednesday.
1st.
Oh, Wednesday.
And you were whining like,
On
why are you doing it on a Wednesday? I work for
a
a
Wednesday for pensioned off people, for students, for night shift workers, but you know.
But I don't think that it's open on the weekends. I mean, I'm
That-
sure
that'd
if
be a good
they're
reason why.
scheduled to work on the weekend, then it would be.
So
the store
Cahoots
might
out.
be open too.
Well, you know what? I
Yeah.
need a toaster.
Hey, we
Can
can
you
bring
bring one back for
Yeah.
4-slicer.
You should have seen us coming through Port Hope on the way home. We went up to the Center Lights, go to Port Hope up beside Dave, and he's going, what do you think, a bunch of badass bikers going through.
We got so many looks. Every car I saw go by me.
We got shit strapped to our bikes.
That's
It looked
cool.
like all these bikers were helping one guy move.
Well, I had a coffee machine. My saddlebag wouldn't close. The coffee machine was too big, so it was half open with a bungee cord around it and the coffee machine sticking out. And a friggin' toaster oven on the bitch pad all bungeed in, thanks to Lauren lending me bungee cords to do so. And there he is with the big old deep fryer strapped to the beer box. You know, so it was just priceless.
Nobody had a credit card to get a truck rental, right?
Yeah, you know, so every
Well,
car
we
that
were
went by,
laughing.
it was
Like,
hilarious.
we never even took this into consideration when we went out there to get.
No.
You know, we never even
Never
did
thought
that. We just
about
How
went
we get
shopping.
back.
And like, oh shit, now everybody's going through their bags looking for extra bungee cords, and now we're
Sure.
gonna get, this won't fit. Like, geez, I thought that would fit in my bag, but it won't.
So Wolfie's gone ahead and made it an annual event.
Yeah, but Wolf, see, he's got a sidecar now.
So he's going to be
So-
coming home with a full oven.
He's HD, the D, he's putting the delivery in the D of HD-ROC.
There you go.
Maybe you can bring all your stuff back.
Yeah,
I,
that's right,
I remember Wolfie posted a picture last year of his brand new 4-slicer on the counter, and he's got this like a relic blender or kettle or something off to the side beside it. And like the first comment I could come up with was, "We're gonna have to go back. You need to update your kettle." Whatever that thing was. Right?
So now it's May the 1st at 11 o'clock. You guys are off to the toaster on the toaster run.
if I can make it, I'll be there. I still want to double check, because I still swear to God that it wasn't picked in this in season, that they're open Saturdays, but I can't find the bloody phone numbers.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
we can be flexible with that date too. Like, I mean, Wolfie can go anytime, I can go anytime. And if they're gonna be open on a
Excuse me.
weekend in May, I got no problem with going down on a Saturday too, if more people wanna come.
But Hamilton Beach is a really good product.
Well, it's not just that, but the Picton area, right? There's some great roads down there to ride, man. I go down there.
We went on one, didn't we?
I go down there all the time.
See
I
that
try-
lighthouse?
Yeah, we were really late in the day. We tried to see at least one. But if you go down there and you have the whole day, you hit all four corners. There's a lighthouse in every corner, and then you can hit Lake on the Mountain on the way back. You can hit Black River Cheese. There's the cider house you can hit. There's some gorgeous roads. Down
Just
there.
don't hit the pebbled roads.
No, well, I had a good ride with Tig there last year. We went down to Lake of the Mountain and went up and checked out Lake of the Mountain, which was pretty awesome to see. And then we went across on the ferry,
Yeah.
came back out through Kingston area. So that was a nice run.
Yeah, we did
day.
that too when we went.
Yeah,
We went out.
that was an excellent day too.
Yeah.
when
Is that the
we
Glendon
got
Ferry?
there.
Well, what we did to get out there that day, that wasn't Toaster Day, was it? That was a
No,
different day.
a different day, just me and you.
Just killing time. We shot out
Sure.
the 401 past Picton out to Napanee, and then dropped down through Hay Bay down to Loyalist, right? And Loyalist is a gorgeous road going through Bath and all that. So we took Bath right into the Glenora Ferry and jumped
Went
on
right
that.
by Dave's place. There's a prison up there. We went right by it.
Yeah, good old Millhaven. Hi, Dad.
And we get on the ferry. And I took a picture of him on the bike.
My dad's dead.
I took a picture of him with the bikes on the ferry. And then when I posted on HD-ROC, I said, "Hey, look, a ferry on the ferry."
I was more excited about it than he was because it wasn't his first ferry ride.
There you go. Hey, that sounds
So
like a fun ride.
it was my first ferry ride with a bike. On a bike, it was.
Then you got the big one out in Newfoundland.
Yeah, that was.
That's a ferry ride.
They just dropped me straight down on that one.
Well, that's great, man. Good for Wolfie for making that an annual thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's a lot
wouldn't
of
it be
fun.
funny if before you know it, in 5 years, there's 500 people going for toasters? Hey, you'd want to get a good deal at the bloody toaster
I was gonna say,
place.
better get a
Good marks,
better get a
man.
Holy
kickback.
shit.
Better
Hey,
get-
bring me back a free one if you guys are going.
Yeah, better get a kickback for Christ's sake.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, HD-ROC rocks Hamilton Beach, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I gotta get them as a sponsor.
Right.
There you go. Everybody can have a toaster on your Lupus
You know what?
Now, what's the, I totally lost track. Sorry about that. I had this perfect thing to say and I forgot.
Again?
This happened in the last video.
That's right. Didn't you want him to say, continue on from the last
That's why
one?
I'm here. I'm still
Okay.
waiting for it.
What was I going to say?
Exactly.
I don't, was I here? See, like I'm old,
Not
guys.
mine.
You gotta go easy on me. There's gotta be like little clues to, remind me of what I gotta say. Like you guys can't just expect me to do all this on my own.
Well, no, or much.
Lauren hit his own Easter eggs this year, right?
What's that?
Lauren hit his own Easter eggs this
Yeah,
year.
and they're still,
And
the
we're
dogs-
still looking for something.
the dogs are still digging them up.
And coloring
I'm
books.
still
make a great
finding ones
Christmas
from
gift.
last year.
Guys, I went to the bike show yesterday and it was pretty cool. All the bike shows are cool. I mostly go to see the friends and the same bikes are usually there.
There's one with a tattoo show in there too, right?
I'm not sure if John was there from Motorcycle Enhancements, but he's got a cool
Yeah,
Indian.
he was there. I seen a picture of him.
He's got a cool Larry Indian bike. Now I didn't run into John yesterday, but he's got a very cool Indian Larry bike. Remember when we were at the last one at the CNE last year and
No, that was the HHR ride.
oh, that was the HHR
Seen
ride,
him
right?
out back.
Outside, yep.
Yeah, that's a cool buddy.
Excellent guy and was very very gracious to us and he had lots of hospitality. Hospitable.
John's in the hospital?
No, John's in the hospital. No, he's not.
Where's his bike?
But I think he built that bike and he had it painted or
Was the
painted.
old one?
But it's an awesome bike. I saw Josh from Classy Chassis, and he's always an amazing person.
Yeah, and see, and they're gonna have their appreciation thing something in May. I'm
Got
not
the
sure
invitation
date.
today for the Burns
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
It's at
Or
May
whatever.
20. No, not May 24th, but it'd be May sometime.
Better not be, that's my roof fest. Right?
I'll tell you something about Josh. I actually he sent me an email asking if we could plug something on Lou's radio show, and Lou jumped all over it because he's a big sponsor of the HHR.
He is.
And the next thing you know, the next day I get an email saying we'll do an HD-ROC. Thank you for passing the information on to Lou, and we'll do an HD-ROC barbecue at Classy Chassis. So we're going to have our very own barbecue there, which is awesome. And I think we're going to do it on our big shoot ride. So we're going to go on the
right
big
on.
shoot ride early and come back to Classy Chassis for the barbecue.
So this won't be like in the middle of December like last year's.
No, I think we're doing it August. Geez, I'd have to look at the events, but I think
You know why that's cool? Because if we're up to like 57 to 60 people or something already on that. We're not even in the summer yet.
Maybe we can do it on a Wednesday.
And if we get too many people, there's not a
Yeah.
restaurant big enough to feed us all lunch, if it's gonna be a day kind of deal, right? So,
So going
the
back there,
barbecue is kinda cool, because you can all just go back and get a burger and everybody's happy. So that would work out good if we
Yeah,
can
the
swing
whole-
it on the same weekend.
The whole crew at Classy Chassis, and this is coming from a friggin' Honda guy, seems seriously cool. I mean, if you look at all the charity stuff they do, like you look at the charity, just the event invitations that we get on Facebook, right? And how many of those Classy Chassis name is attached to, right?
Actually,
they
Classy-
seem to do it.
Classy Chassis is actually going in connection
Yeah.
with Eagle Eye Custom, Bob over at Eagle Eye.
Yeah.
They're coming together with a bike show for my ride, for the Durham ride against lupus.
Yeah, they're bringing
they're bringing some of their
bikes
steeds
over
in there, and they're
there,
gonna put them out there, and they're gonna show them off.
That's
Right?
pretty awesome.
So him and Bob, Josh and Bob got together, and they're gonna be putting something together for us on June 22nd. So
Great.
Yeah, they're Classy Chassis likes to be involved. And
They really are
They're
classy.
solid. They are classy.
Solid people.
me and you went up to Classy Chassis, and for the first time I've ever been up there, I think it was the Christmas party, I'm not sure, or what was it we were up
That
there
was
at?
the Christmas, the first time, was that your first time?
That was my
I
first
up
time ever there,
that was my
and
third
Josh
time.
took us in with open arms and showed us every building that he has, and they were all closed, but he took us aside, and my family and you, and we walked around and he said, we did this here, we do that there, this is, and he showed us the whole ground, so it was
Question for
amazing.
you. Question for you.
Yes, sir.
Classy Chassis.
Yes,
Is there only one Classy Chassis?
I
As far as I know.
do believe.
Because out in Woodstock, they got a trail that says Classy Chassis. North Pickering,
Yeah,
on
that's-
Taunton Road, there's a
that's
sign
them.
that says Classy Chassis.
That's them.
401, Classy
them.
Chassis.
That's them.
So everything's up in
UsedHarleyDavidson.com.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we used
it's
HD.
all-
We used
yeah.
HD.
But here's
it's
the
in
thing.
Kirkfield, right?
.ca.
There's a lot of Harley
Lakefield.
dealers. There's a lot of Harley dealers, and most of them are really good. But Josh and Classy Chassis go above and beyond. They really do. They really show their respect to everybody. And I'm not saying other Harley places don't. I know Bob Longley's an amazing guy at his Harley Davidson. I've dealt with Mackey's; they're amazing. Josh seems to step forward and go above and beyond for everybody. So that's a little plug for Classy Chassis.
They're not a dealership though, right? They're just a place that sells.
They're unauthorized.
Right.
That's where they had the T-shirts that said unauthorized Harley dealers. So, okay, guys, you know what? We all love to ride, and Thursday night seems to be a big thing for not just HD-ROC, but a lot of riders in general. We always end up going to Hagen's, and we always end up having ribs and beers, and there's a lot of people that show up on Thursday nights there. We noticed last year, I don't think at the beginning of the year they were doing it, but towards the end they started enforcing a tip procedure where you pay 15%, it comes on your
Right on the
bill.
bill.
Now,
They've been doing it for a long time. Their systems are set up that way.
but I don't think that's happened to us before.
It has, but we just didn't notice
Just
it.
never noticed it.
I brought it to notice when I noticed it. I brought it to everybody's attention.
Well,
What
that
is
would
this all
explain
about?
why when I get my bill, I look at it and go, man, they want an awful lot for ribs.
Yeah.
Because I don't go through
Well,
the.
it's an extra 15% on top of it, right?
But we love going to Hagen's. We want to keep the bike night going on there so we can all ride there. It's a great place. If it has to go somewhere else, it may, but we don't want that to happen.
You know what? I'm not-
I want your opinions on how you guys feel about the enforced tip at the end of your bill. I don't think it's a great thing, and I think it's not a great thing.
There's so many bike nights out there now, Thursday nights and otherwise, that are in Timmy's parking lots or whatever the case may be, and the Timmy's and that seem to appreciate the business maybe a little bit more. Like as far as I'm concerned, me and Liz have talked about it, and if we go to Hagen's at all this year, we're definitely not eating there because it's not factored into our budget. I'm on a tight budget since I'm not back to work yet from going to school. Spending $70 a week, gas and food included, for a couple hours out.
Me and the wife spend $50 every
It's
time
not
we
worth
go.
it. It's just not
Easy,
worth it.
easy. Like, and I want the waitresses to be tipped, but I think you should tip them what
If
you
they
want.
deserve it.
They automatically put a charge on it for
Yeah.
$15. Well, sometimes we tip them 20. But the point is, if other times we don't have the $15,
15%.
15%, I'm saying if
Yeah.
we spend 100. So
Okay,
whatever.
on $100. Okay, okay.
So I'm saying that if me and Lauren and his wife and Tam go and we spend $100, that they automatically enforce the $15 tip, and sometimes we only have the right amount of money to pay for the bill. So
I think
what's
it's
your
borderline.
thoughts on that?
I think it's borderline illegal. How can you assume something that's gratuity? If you look at what gratuity means,
Well, yeah,
what if you happen to get a bad waitress
Exactly.
You don't feel like tipping 15 bucks.
Exactly.
You only want to tip 8.
Hey, you're
Or you
sitting.
don't want to tip nothing
tip at all.
because you've been waiting for a beer all night. And I'm not
Right.
saying that's what happened in Hoggins or anything like that. But
But
what
what
I'm
if?
saying is if I drop my fork and I can't even find a waitress, and I know it gets busy there, and I got to go and find my, I got to find a waitress just to get a fork. Well, my food's there getting cold. Well, now I'm paying 15% of what my meal is worth because they feel that I should.
Yeah.
I mean, and it
I
goes
don't know
on and on.
anybody else that does that.
This restaurant has a good thing going. There's a lot of bikes that show up there, and there's a lot of business pushed through that store on one day.
And I want to,
And they should
Be a little more appreciative.
be appreciative of our business, not force me to pay.
Yeah.
I'll pay. I'm a good tipper, and I'll pay a good tip. But you show me that
If it's earned.
you deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a turnoff to see the tip on there.
their
at the end of
excuse
your
though,
bill.
their excuse to us, when I questioned them on it, was that that is a policy because of a party of 11 or more people that we serve and cater to, it's an automatic gratuity. If you were to come in just as a couple or whatever, they don't put it on your bill. But when I get my bill,
It's 2
it's
people.
only 2 people.
Right.
When I get the bill for 20 people,
Right.
we have to be sitting at the same table. Right, so it is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a wedding party where one person is putting out the bill for
Yeah,
it.
no.
We're all paying our own bills. I shouldn't have to pay an automatic gratuity. Bottom line,
Exactly
that's me. And my protest to that will, if we go there, which we will end up there, I won't be eating there. I will eat at, not only McDonald's, but I'm gonna eat something before I get there because I can't afford the meals there, and I definitely
And
can't
it's
afford
not
the
the point of the tip, it's the point of that they enforce it and put it on your bill.
I tip graciously on every matter. My family was born and raised on gratuities. Both my family, my mother and my father were service industry. I worked in the service industry for 20 plus years. My ex-wife was a waitress slash bartender slash host. You know, we all lived off of tips.
You must have been bad at it because you're driving a Honda.
Well, my Honda was a ballpark. I still can afford the Loctite.
I can't. So I use paper glue. Dave, you had a good point about Hoggins. You had a good point about Hoggins, about something about, I don't know, I can't remember what your point was.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
Could have been a good
No,
point.
you were saying something about the fact that when we go there, about maybe showing a little bit of appreciation. Now, we're not on Hoggins here. We love to go there. The food's great.
The people are great.
And they serve beer, which is great for me. But you were saying something about, it would be nice maybe one Thursday out of the whole summer to have a half-price wing,
Yeah,
a
why not?
half-price rib dinner for everybody.
Why not? I figure if me and Liz go in there and we dump 75 bucks before tip, right? And again, it's the same thing as Lauren just said. If we get good service and that, because let's face it, we're there just to hang out with our friends and that, so we want to be in and out. They want us in and out. They want the table free, right? So if everybody's accommodated and we're in and out and the beer's cold and the food's hot and everything falls into place, we will tip extremely generously. I don't have no problem with that whatsoever. But yeah, it'd be nice if maybe one Thursday, they set aside one Thursday and said, you know what, you guys have brought in a couple $100,000 this season. So maybe for the last bike night of the year, half price ribs.
I would like to see them give away, they give away T-shirts on the draws or whatever they give away. Sometimes I've seen that they don't have anything to give away, the odd 1 or 2 T-shirts in those draws. Now I don't know if that's directly through Hagen's that gives away the stuff, but hey, throw a couple dinners in there for a draw.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of dinners in for a couple.
T-shirts that say Thursday night bike night, Hoggins restaurant,
More
Hoggins
advertising.
chicken and ribs. People are gonna wear them around town, man.
Right.
They're
Why
wearing
not
them
give
around
everybody
town. It's a free advertising.
half a rack of ribs, barbecue? Throw it on
Free
a
dessert.
show for everybody. This is, how long has it been going on?
Free
a few years
dessert
now, right?
coupon for
It's
guys.
going on a few years now, right?
Lots of years.
A lot of years.
10 years?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Several
It's
years.
going on a lot of years.
Right.
207 brought that thing up there
Yeah.
with Dean's and Zuris's family when they were there. But put on a show for the guys that come up there with the bikes. You know what I
Right.
mean? Give back what they've
Give back,
given you.
yeah,
Like it's my understanding that the Hot Rod Association that always showed up there on Tuesdays or Wednesday nights have now went somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I just tend
Might
to
happen to
wonder.
the bikes, too.
I tend to wonder whether it's because what we're now feeling. Now we're starting to go, hey, what's going on here? Well, maybe they went, hey, what's going on here before we did.
Well, apparently,
Like, I don't know why they left, and I don't know if they left. I just heard that.
well, apparently the next street over on Simcoe, Krabby Joe's has started a bike night on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or whatever. I don't know for sure. It's not the same night, but apparently it's gaining in popularity every week.
You know, we
You know?
went there actually one night. I wasn't too impressed with that steak
It's
I got
new,
because
though.
they put this sauce on.
Well, it's
Well,
It
grab it.
just killed my
it's a
steak.
chicken
Krabby?
restaurant.
Yeah, but now I
Anyway.
know better. I mean, that's not, you know, that's just one night problem.
We're bringing up this subject, I think, because nobody's happy with the fact that they enforce their tips. And, you know, we want to keep going to Hoggins, and we think it's a great place. So we want you to also post your opinions. If you go there and you have ribs, post your opinions. I think if they get enough complaints. And I'm not trying to be cheap by saying we don't want to pay the tip, but just don't enforce it, because most times the waitresses will get a bigger tip.
They
than
should
if
get
they're
more.
enforcing. But if you see a bill for $15 on your, or $10 on your, automatically added to your bill,
You don't have to
you're
pay
not,
it.
you're gonna
I
be
protest
less
it.
inclined. You're not gonna give her any more than that, because
Yeah.
it's an insult to have that on your bill.
Is that
You know what?
pre-tax, by the way?
If you don't know
I have
that
no
that's
idea.
on your
You know what, I
bill,
don't
which
know, but I know
don't
it's a
know
slot.
that,
I wonder if
okay?
it's pre-tax.
But that's the biggest thing. Nobody knows it's there.
Right.
Right.
So I'm
It's
thinking
snuck
if
in.
my
Yeah.
meal cost that, my meal and my drinks cost this much money. I've just left $10, $8, whatever I've left on the table, plus I've went and paid my bill. So I've left the tip on the bill. I've left the woman or the
Whatever the
Another
man
man
$10.
who
is.
Now you've left a
on the
$25
table.
tip.
Yeah.
And I'm going, now I'm finding out that they're adding it to my, now I'm fucking mad.
And how am I gonna put gas in my van?
Yeah, like I am.
What-
Yeah, you better.
How am I gonna get gas in my van?
What if we do eat there? Because it's a gratuity. They can't legally say you have to
Right.
pay a gratuity.
Now that I
So
know
what if-
that's
so what if
happening,
we
I
go in
would
there?
I would say I'm not paying that. Take
Yeah, but
that
what
off
if we
my
go in
bill.
there just with a pen? They hand you your bill, right? Let's say the tip is $17, right? And your total is $107. So you take that $17, you scratch it out. You write down $90 or whatever the case may be. You leave $90 on the table and you hand the waitress $15.
What are they gonna do?
Here's the thing,
The
guys.
waitress gets her tip, and there's the visual protest on the bill when they're doing the paperwork
Right.
that I'm not paying your damn.
Here's the thing that we want to get out there, and we love Hoggins, and we want to keep going there. We want Hoggins to actually think about enforcing a tip on everyone's bill. Some people can only afford to pay a $5 tip. That's fair. The waitresses have plenty of people I don't know about every other night, but on a Thursday night, waitresses have plenty of people and plenty of tables to make money. And I think that throwing a bill like that on there and sneaking it in is not a good thing. And I think that we're stating this because we want Hoggins to reevaluate what they're doing.
These waitresses work their asses off.
They're
a
busy.
lot of
They
people
deserve
go
it.
through
Don't
there,
get me wrong.
And they do deserve a tip, no matter how bad the business is.
But
It's
it's not-
crowded and it's busy.
It's
Don't
not the
tell us we
waitress's
have.
fault.
Force me to pay it.
Right,
And then
don't
don't
force
even tell me that I'm being forced to pay it. And plus I'm leaving another tip on top of that at the table.
Right,
The double
Like,
dip?
that is just, yeah, that is just
double
totally
dip.
wrong.
right.
Leave it up to me. I'm a smart enough man to figure out how well my service was and all that kind of stuff. And I'm very kind-hearted to the understanding that the place is jam-packed. She's overworked, and I'll give her what I think she deserves.
Absolutely.
If they're gonna put on a bill that this is part of the bill and you have to pay it, what's stopping us from grabbing a scrap of paper before we go in and drawing up our own free beer with an order of ribs coupons
Right.
and saying this is written on this piece of paper, so you have to enforce it.
You know what?
What's the difference?
If I have a good mind right now to go up there and eat at the next when now the bike season's back, and looking at my bill and seeing if it's there, and when I go up to pay that bill, say I'm not paying that.
It'll only work if you walk in with the group of HD-ROC or whatever, though, right? Like Adrian said.
No, I'm not paying it.
I know.
Oh no, yeah.
won't be there unless you're
at
on
a table of 11.
Right, right.
But I got my wife and I that I'm paying for.
So they must
That was it.
manually make that gratuity on that sheet, because
They can't
they're
force
giving me
me
a
to
bill
pay
for Christina, myself, for you and Liz, and they give us our own bill. They
Yeah.
don't bill us for 11 people.
Exactly.
But this is by no means, we're not trying to chastise anybody. We're just saying
No.
what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, and we want to change it, so that's why we're bringing this up.
Rolling.
Rolling.
Who knows a good joke? Who knows a good joke? What are you doing? I gotta fucking, hey,
doing this stuff.
I gotta fucking bleep all that out, man.
lot of banjo music. That's some music. in this one.
Yep, you better be running from those banjos.
But let me ask you something.
Yes,
All over Kickstands Up when we've been on it, and you've been on it with Lauren and everything else. I keep
great
hearing
show, love being there.
Heard you say a million times, and on Facebook, you make no secret of the fact that you're a new rider. You just got your bike with
This will be my second season.
Right. So, what's your number one piece of advice you're going to give to somebody when they're heading out there this spring to buy their bike?
I would think buy a bike that's a proper size for you. I didn't, but buy a bike that's a proper size for you. And
What, you
and-
bought too small of a bike for you?
no, I bought too big of a. I started on a Softail, on a Heritage Softail. I started on that.
And you
I
think
learned
that
on-
was too big for you? to learn on?
I learned on gravel and dirt, and on that bike. And there's a couple times I thought she might have went down, but it didn't. But I also took the course. So for a new rider, your question is, what would I give advice?
What's the number one piece of advice for somebody climbing on a bike for the first time?
Definitely take the course. That's number one. Take the motorcycle course because it guides you right through to your M1, right?
M2.
Sorry, it guides you right through to your M2.
And,
And you'll learn a lot on the course. You'll learn an awful lot, and you'll be a better rider when you come away from riding for those 2 days. I went to Durham College. I think it's $450 or something, but the stuff you'll learn is
It's worth it.
Big time worth it. Take the
I took the
take
course as well. I took the course as well.
me too.
The second thing I would say is just when you're riding in a group, keep your distance and ride. Take your time
Your
and
comfort.
always be
Your
calm.
comfort level.
Yeah, be calm. If like one day, Lauren, me and you were riding up the 401. This was when I was pretty much a brand new rider last season, and now I'd never ridden really any bikes before in my life. So I started, like I said, with this Softail, right? This big Harley. So
Well,
we're riding up the 401,
The Harley.
and
it's as big as the
It's a Harley.
It's as big as the girls' version of the VTX, anyway. Sorry, Wayne. Sorry, Wayne.
Sorry, Cheryl, because now Wayne's gonna go buy an 1800.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you need new seats.
What I meant to say, I don't know what the hell.
Someday we'll have you on here, Wayne.
He can speak for himself
Yeah.
when he comes on. I was riding up the 401, and I was doing 120 or whatever on the 401, and a plastic bag blew up,
Right,
right? A plastic bag blew up and hit my fairing.
I'm listening.
And it stuck there.
These two freaking hard cars will learn. Yeah.
I just remember the conversation we had. Oh, fuck.
I don't know what the joke is either, guys.
Hey, they ride Hondas, what do they know? So,
We're on the 401 ride.
I was on the 401 as a new rider, and a plastic bag blew up.
You know where we were coming home from?
Dover.
Right.
And a plastic bag blew up and blew right, was coming right at me, and it stuck on my fairing. And it was on the fairing, blown away. And I just kept calm. So again, I'm gonna say the second thing I would tell new riders is just whatever happens, keep calm, don't panic, don't turn your wheel, don't do anything, just keep calm. After the bag hit my fairing and was blowing, I just casually, after a few seconds, realized it was there and casually reached down and pulled the bag off and put it in my pocket. So,
You didn't let it go.
No.
See, what did I say to you when we got back? Did
when
you
we got
remember?
back, you said you handled that very well.
Right.
Because that could freak you out.
Because
a plastic
people,
bag coming at you.
Like, what do you do in a car? You
You
try
duck.
to miss something,
Right.
or,
Yeah,
or
you
you
duck.
duck, or whatever.
Exactly.
And on a bike, like, it's coming, you realize what it is.
Right.
It's a bag, okay, I can deal with the bag. And you just let it happen and go from there.
No, I'm not-
Because then you can always slow down,
Right.
pull over, remove it, whatever the.
I'm not saying if a car's coming at you, don't get out of the way, get out of the way. But I'm just saying in this case, it was a plastic bag and just I was calm and took the bag off. So I would say to new riders to just be calm and let things happen like they're gonna happen and try to react to them calmly. Don't
Right.
panic when you're on a bike.
That hits on my number one thing, and I'm sure Hooch will agree, because I mean, as a professional truck driver of 10 years, turning a million kilometers a year, or well, not a year, but anyway.
Oh, you're correct.
Yeah. The number one thing is anticipation. It's all about anticipation. You see that bag, and he said he saw it coming at him the whole 9 yards. You anticipate the possibility that that bag is going to hit you. You're prepared for it. And you're not going to do that evasive maneuver that could possibly hit you in the ditch, right? You have to. it's so cliche. You hear it in the course. I took it Centennial, same thing.
Right.
You hear it a million times over. They drive it into your head. Read the road ahead of you. Don't watch the bumper of the car in front of you.
Right.
Well, to a degree, you have to watch the bumper of the car in front of you.
And know your way
If
out.
those red lights come on, yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to be watching those mirrors. You got to make sure you have your escape route planned at all times, because
On a
you never
motorcycle,
know.
yes.
Yeah. When that cigarette butt comes out the window and hits you in the goggles.
Right.
If you got goggles on.
If you have goggles on, you're gonna want to know what's beside you.
And who threw it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other
When you
thing.
drive up beside them and knock their mirror off, you're prepared and you can see clearly.
I don't recommend kicking anybody's doors. I've heard of people
I've
doing
kicked
that,
it.
and
Absolutely.
I know you have, and I wouldn't do it, and I don't recommend it to any
Listen.
new riders. But the other thing about a new rider is just like you said, keep your eyes ahead,
It's all about anticipation. It really
and
is.
keep your eyes ahead of the road and what's coming up.
Whether
And it's like in your mirrors, right? Like people have a thing, they want to see the back of their bike or the sides of their bike, or they want
Also,
to
it's
see
behind me.
the sides of their cars.
You know what
the
your
rear
bike
view
looks like.
mirrors. You already know what the side. You're right. You know what the side. Like, that's what I tell my wife and my daughter and stuff. You already know what the side of your car looks like. You don't. You know where it is. It's right behind you.
it's
Right.
not going anywhere.
You want to
Hopefully.
see as far away from the side. If you want to see the side of your car, you can. But chances are nobody's going to be beside your car. They're going to be a little bit away from the side of your car.
Yep.
So fan your mirrors out from that. So you and I know where everybody is on the road all the time. So when I look in my mirror and I see a yellow Datsun behind me or whatever, if they even make it anymore, and then I'm doing something else, I'm checking shit out, and I look in my mirror again, and I don't see that car.
You
Now
know he's
I'm
somewhere
aware,
else.
where is it?
Exactly.
Okay, and that's the whole thing is always be prepared that the guy's gonna make a left in front of you. The guy's gonna blow through that fucking stop line.
Yeah.
Always wish for the worst that can happen.
Right.
It's
You'll be
not-
ready.
it's
Well, I'm not
especially-
wishing for it, but I'm
Right.
ready for
Be
it.
prepared
Ready
for the worst that can happen.
Especially driving in the city, you're coming up on a stale green light. You can see 2 blocks ahead that's a stale green
It's
light.
been a green light for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know it's a stale green light. You can see there's cars ready to come out. So or it's a stale green the other way, but there's cars flying down the road. So you know there's the possibility that this is one of those guys who's going to catch that red light but keep barreling through. Right.
Yeah, always
Even
try-
though you're going to hit the green.
Always try to
It's
stop
all
on
about-
your yellows.
It's all
Never
about
try to go
anticipation.
through. The other thing I've noticed, and this is from experience, I was going up the 115 doing about 110, and 115, 110. Well, maybe I was doing 115 up the 115. But anyway, I was going up the 115, and I guess a
About
pickup
110.
truck.
What time was it?
What time was it?
1:35?
I guess a pickup truck just in front of me lost its load, and it was a picnic, not a picnic table. It was a hammock frame, steel frame on the road, and I was, galley-wagging, looking around what was around me. When I looked on the road, I saw all this debris on the road, and I managed to find a spot between it all and go through it. The people behind me in cars weren't so lucky; they all smashed into it, and one guy went off the road. I got lucky. So here's one thing that I would say for a new rider as well, and that is if you get behind a trailer, like a guy in a car or a truck towing a trailer with a tarp that's all strapped down,
Get away
or
from it.
even without a tarp, go around them, back off, do whatever you have to do, but don't follow a trailer with loose obstacles in the back that are strapped down, because there's a
Exactly
good
right.
chance something's going to come out of that.
Drive defensively and anticipate. That's what I'm saying. It's all about anticipation. Anticipate the possibility that something's going to come loose on that.
Because if
Right.
something goes wrong, like if you always think that guy's gonna make a right-hand turn off that street in front of you, or somebody's gonna make a left-hand turn, if you're already anticipating that happening,
You're
if
ready.
it does, you're ready.
Right.
Exactly.
If it doesn't, that's good.
And you're already aware, like Lauren said, you've been watching your mirrors, so you know what's beside you. So you know if somebody comes off that side street, or that guy sitting in his driveway is going to back out, you know you're clear on your left-hand side,
Right.
and you can swerve out of
Because
the
you've
way.
looked in your mirror to make sure you have room.
A quick
Because
Or
glance,
you're not
you see the
clear,
same car,
and
you know
try
you're
to stop, you back off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're anticipating all these
You
possibilities.
need to know what's going on around you at all
And
times.
we're talking about this because there's a lot of new riders in HD-ROC, and we all want to ride with them, and we want them to be safe.
We all want to make it home.
We all want them to make it home.
Yeah, we wanna keep riding with them.
We
Yeah.
want to keep riding with
Do
them.
you guys have any group riding pet peeves?
I don't. I've heard lots of guys, I know lots of guys that have said, I rode in this one charity ride, 2 people went down, I won't ride in another group ride. Me, I haven't experienced that. I kind of keep my distance, and
The only pet peeve I have in a group ride is people who leave too big of a gap. when we're going down the road. You shouldn't, when you're riding in a group, first and foremost, stay in formation. Know what formation is and stay in it.
Right.
Right, and if the bike's in front of you switch because somebody's dropped out of the ride, then signal to the guy behind you, learn your group riding signals, signal to the guy behind you, switch it up, stay in formation.
Right.
And at the same time, don't go too fast or don't go too slow.
Right.
You don't want to be right up the ass of the guy in front of you, but you don't want to be, if you leave a gap a car can get into, a car will come into it.
Right.
Always.
Yes, so don't be,
Yep.
just ride right.
And you always leave enough room with the guy in front of you, because if something happens to him, especially if it's getting
Tire
night
goes
and
down.
dusk, or he's got to get off the road, if you're on this side of the road, anything to his right, that's his escape route.
Yeah.
Okay, if something goes wrong, and you're the guy that's right here, and if you're crowding him, he's got no
Nowhere to
room.
go.
You were a new rider at one time.
Oh yeah, I'm a born again rider.
Okay.
I used to ride years ago, and then trying to raise a family became very expensive for me.
Absolutely.
And I sold my bike when my second son was born, and I was without a bike until my second son moved out. Ironic.
It's his fault.
So, no, back to it. I figured now that my kids are all grown up somewhat, I'm a grandpa now, and I said, hell it, I want a bike.
So
I want my bike
any
back.
pointers for new riders?
Yeah, get the bike that fits you. Get the bike that you want. Get the bike that you like. Don't get the bike that someone else tells you to get. Get the bike that you feel
right for
comfortable
you.
with, that's right for you. Whether it be a rocket,
test
whether
drive.
it be a Harley,
Test drive?
Yeah.
do your homework.
Yeah, be comfortable.
Do your homework. Before you spend that money and commit yourself to a bike, do your homework.
Right.
You know, and figure out what you want. You know, do you want speed? Do you want cruising ability? You know, me personally, I saw speed, and my life was a blur.
Yeah,
And
speed's not
I
a
wanted
good
to
thing.
sweat on and smell the roses for a little bit, so I grabbed a cruiser, and I am completely 100% happy and grateful that I went and got a cruiser.
9 out of 10 people eventually do come around.
Yeah.
Me too. I was always the crotch rocket.
Yeah.
I don't want a Harley piece of junk, because back then they just leaked and they caused a headache. You know, you needed to be a mechanic to keep them on the road.
And
I
now
wanted to
you're-
go out and start my bike and go where I wanted to go. Well, Harleys have come, I mean, we talked about that on the last RocTalk. They've come a long way.
On a tow truck.
And
Their quality standards are very high now.
I went out, my first street bike was a Virago 750. I wanted the VMAX. This was back in 89, 88. And I wanted the VMAX, but I knew myself, right? And I followed I was smart enough at least, probably the only smart thing I've ever done on my life, to listen to my buddies. A buddy of mine, one of my drummers from one of my old bands, his last street bike was a Cowie Z1. Suicide written all over these bloody things, the big 1000cc two-strokes.
Yep.
Oh my God, forget it, right? You just sign your organ donor card and check in.
Go to the
You're done.
racetrack.
Yeah. So anyway, so I wanted the VMAX so bad. I just loved the way they looked, the sounded, the speed, everything. Like I'm nuts. I've never ridden, I've never ridden a street bike before. I've been on dirt bikes and stuff, but that's just dumb. So I bought the Virago 750, and it's a good thing I did too, because that bike nearly killed me. So if I had bought the VMAX, I probably wouldn't be sitting here.
I'm glad you don't have a crotch rocket, and I'll tell you why. Because you have an 1800 VTX and you drive that thing like a crotch rocket.
From time to time, I enjoy opening it up. And you gotta clean out the exhaust pipes every now and again.
I've seen this guy this close to a bumper doing fucking 110.
That's an
Oh,
exaggeration.
no, that's exaggeration.
Well, no, he's trying to see if he can touch
That's
the
an
bumper.
Well, he says to
exaggeration.
me too, he says, like, you drive too fast. And I go, no, I don't drive too fast. I just drive too fast for you, but I drive fast.
That's 'cause
enough
my bike
in
won't
my
go that
environment.
fast.
You're comfortable.
And I know where this environment's gonna stop, right?
Yeah.
When I know what the brakes are capable of, I
Right.
know what I'm capable of, and I know I'm comfortable, like, if something goes wrong, I know I have a lane in the highway.
Well, it's just, yeah. It comes down to your years of experience and everything. Like,
Yeah,
Sure,
there's
seriously.
a whole lot of comfort knowing what is underneath you. And when I know that my bike is right up to safety standards and everything's gonna work when I want it to work, or I'm gonna hope it does because I look after it, that I'm gonna stop, then I can do that extra 10 over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
well, that's kind of my point, because it's like, and I've said this a couple times, it sounds kind of arrogant, but I honestly believe it at the end of the day. It's like guys like Adrian and myself, in the last 10 years, I've turned well over 1 million kilometers behind the wheel of various things, right? I've taken defensive driving courses in a car. I've taken defensive driving courses in an 18-wheeler. I've had an 18-wheeler out on a skid pad. I've been certified in the transportation of dangerous goods. I've taken bike courses twice in my life. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of experience under my belt. I know the road. My anticipation on the road is good, and I have the record that shows it, and the
Right.
mileage to back that up.
Sure.
Like there's a lot of people who say I have a clean record, right? But I've got 1 million miles and a clean record.
Right.
And it doesn't mean he's above something happening.
No.
It just means
No.
that
No.
he's
I'm
that much
He's
more
been fortunate
aware.
and
Right,
that much
right.
skill that he's been able to avoid it up to this point.
Well, I'll tell you one
Exactly.
thing about riding with you. We were on the Chantry ride last year.
Okay.
We hit some gravel roads,
Yeah.
and you laid right back.
I don't.
And I think I was in front of you
You're
and
just-
saw you
Yeah.
laying back, and I laid back with you,
Yeah.
while everybody else was
Let
up in
them go.
front.
Yeah.
So
I ride to my comfort level.
I thought that was good.
No, I ride to my comfort level. I don't care who's getting away because nobody's that much of a rush.
No one-
If I don't feel comfortable riding in the terrain that I'm in, I will stop it, slow it down, whatever it takes for me to get my bearings and know what I'm into.
And that's very
Worst
safe.
comes, it doesn't matter how slow you are, worst comes to worst, when you get up there and the pavement's back and everything, they're sitting there having a smoke.
Exactly.
Worst case scenario.
Exactly.
They're not leaving
Everybody-
without me.
No.
You know.
No, everybody up front's watching the
And if I'm
videos,
not,
they know what's going
if
on.
I'm not too long, someone's coming back for
So
me.
there's another good pointer for new riders. Don't necessarily keep up with the people that are in
No.
front of you that have been riding for
Don't
20
push.
years.
You ride
If they
to your
take
level.
off, you take your time and ride how you feel you want to
Stay
ride.
within
Do
your
not
zone.
try to keep up with them.
Absolutely.
They'll wait for you.
No, absolutely.
That's a
It's
good point.
not
Great
worth it.
point.
There's always a stop sign somewhere down the road, and that's where they'll be.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. If not, they're coming back.
I mean, if we see somebody pull over in the mirror, well, then we're gonna pull over to see, but
Yep.
if they're just lagging, we got, especially if it's a gravel road or something, we know
Go
that
keep your
they're
momentum
just doing
going.
their, they're just doing their
Yes,
pace, right?
yes.
And
So that's a pointer for all you new riders out there, and I'm a new rider myself, and I'm still learning as well. But these are great points for you guys to ride your bikes upon, and just take your time and be cautious and keep your eyes open at all times.
There's nothing better than being in your comfort zone, because you're gonna be more happy in
I'm
it.
enjoying it.
You're
That's
gonna be
it.
happy in your
Yeah,
comfort zone.
Exactly.
If you go above that comfort zone, if you take yourself out of your comfort zone, it's gonna become scary. It's gonna become,
Uncomfortable.
yeah, well, you're not having
Right.
fun, you're not having fun anymore.
But
You're
at the
not
same-
having fun. What's the
No.
sense of going on a ride?
And you know
if you're not
what?
gonna have
When
fun?
you're scared and you're uncomfortable, you are more likely to crash. I don't even like saying that word, but
Right.
get into a situation you don't want to be into. And unfortunately, the outcome of those situations are not pleasant.
That's right.
And nobody wants to shorten their summer, you know, or do anything like that. These bikes are expensive. You're more expensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? To repair yourself is one thing, to repair your bike's another. You know what? Let your boys go. They will be there.
I might
You'll catch up.
get on an open road by myself or with my buddy once in a while and crack it for 10 seconds. Just crack her open and then get back to the speed limit and take it easy. I'm a cruiser, I'm not a fast rider, but once in a while I like to crack it, and we all do. And I think there's appropriate time to crack her open and go for it, and then there's appropriate time,
Right.
and then 99% of the time you're laying back.
You gotta clean the pipes out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would say, like, if doing group rides is one thing, but if you're a new rider, I'd suggest even maybe a few times a season, especially for new riders, go out when it's just you and your buddy, like say you and me, right? If I'm a new rider, you and I head out, and seek out a gravel road. Find one.
Learn it.
Yeah, and get on it. Spend a couple miles on it, so that when you do hit one, because I promise you, if you're cruising around up north off Highway 7 or something, somewhere with all the construction
You're
that's
gonna
going
be
on,
doing something.
you're gonna find one. Whether
yeah.
you like it or not, you're gonna find one.
Well, there's
So
winter
get-
and
so
there's
go put yourself
different
on
styles
one
of
and learn what
gravel.
to
There's
expect.
gravel like my driveway,
thin gravel.
it's packed down, and then there's big ass roller gravel.
Yeah, like 3/4 inch.
And then if it's just been put down, it hasn't been packed yet,
Right.
and you
What was
catch
that white
those
shit
ruts
we were
and
in?
stuff, you know.
Yeah, that was like.
What was that white shit
like
we were in? It was like
recycled.
driving in sand.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Well,
I felt the bike go right inside it.
Let's face it too, the other important issue for a new rider is to maintain your bike. I had a bald tire on last year, that was my fault, and I almost wiped the bike, should have went down, it didn't go down, it stood back up, it was shaking like this. I got lucky and it stood back up. I went right through the turn I was supposed to make, but I got lucky. So I've learned now, if that tire is even half bald at the end, I'm changing the tire. I don't care what anybody says.
Safety first.
Check your nuts, check your bolts if you
Pardon?
think. Well, check your nuts. Always, like take.
Check your nuts and keep your butt against the wall.
If you get on a birdie ball.
If you can spend 2 hours washing your bike, spend 2 hours every month or 3 weeks checking all the nuts
That
and
should be
bolts,
part
make
of
sure they're tight.
That should be part of it every day.
If you have a wash kit with your washes and waxes and all that stuff, throw a pressure gauge in it. Throw a tread depth gauge in it.
Check your pressure, your tire pressure all the time.
Do it
That's
as part of
important.
the regular friggin' maintenance.
Yeah.
So that's good topics for the new riders that we reached upon, and I hope it helps somebody out there somewhere along the line.
It will. If anybody just listens to what was said, and I mean, we don't know it all.
No.
We just have a little piece.
That's what we know.
It's all from experience
It's just
of what's happened
it's
to us.
experience talking,
Yeah.
and
Well, you learn more with experience, right?
There's
You
a
gotta get
lot
out there,
of
you gotta
people.
travel, you gotta to have the open road, you gotta be with your friends, you gotta know, you have to be in these different scenarios, otherwise you'll never learn. Everything will be textbook, textbook, textbook. As far as I'm concerned, textbook is good reference, but practical is where you
Absolute
learn.
Yeah,
experience.
That's where you learn it.
Go out and ride and find a couple bad roads, incorporate them into your ride.
Take it easy though.
Take your time.
Take
Yeah.
it easy.
Take your time.
Like Jim, these guys in the 507, these guys love riding the 507. The 507 is a gravel pit.
Yeah, but they try to set records up.
I know, I don't know why. It's such a dirty road.
and it's become like a friend of mine. Like I'm.
But how many
in-laws
people
have a
die
house
every
in
year on the
Buckhorn.
Well, I gotta tell you now, two of my friends have passed away on that road.
Right.
Gus
In the same year, wasn't it?
Prasanna? No, they were a few years apart, but
Rest in
bottom
peace,
line
Gus.
is, they were rest in peace, both of you boys, Prasanna and Gus. And let me tell you, I won't forget you. I won't forget you. I'm going up to see both of you actually coming this summer. So yeah, no, 507 is not a place for games. It's another road. You know what I mean? It's a nice windy road, but it's dirty. It's got stones and pebbles and wildlife everywhere, all over it.
And it's
It is
greasy.
not. It's
Leaves.
greasy.
Leaves.
Yeah, it's just not worth
A lot
the
of-
run. I mean,
A lot
these
of
guys
car-
make
a
it
lot
like
of cars
it's.
hug the corner, like,
Oh.
and they kick gravel
Oh.
up. And if you're trying to do a
Horrible.
time thing on that, I mean, my buddy's on Pencil Lake up there, which is about halfway up 57, up towards Goodrum. And I go up to the Buckhorn area all the time, so I'm familiar with all that. And I got friends on crotch rockets that just do it on that road.
Set records.
Yeah,
I mean,
try to.
I can do 110, 120 and stuff like that, but coming into a corner, I'm always leery that the car kicks in gravel. You only need one roller rod.
Yeah.
That's all you need on your front tire
You're done.
at that speed, and now you're trying to catch it.
Well, plus I see.
And normally catching it
You're not.
kills you.
You're not catching
You
it.
should let it go.
I've been up there a million times and I've seen guys, blue hairs, coming down the opposite direction, pulling trailers like yours, right? And they're so scared of their bogies going in the ditch that they're halfway
Taking your
over.
lane.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens if you're doing Mach 4 northbound and, you know,
You got rubber trucks
taking
running
right
down there
lanes.
too that are
see
hauling
ya,
ass.
see ya.
No, I just, you go for a cruise, man. Just
Exactly.
So that's some great pointers for new riders, and I'm glad we touched on that. And like I said, I hope it helps one person. That's great. We're getting to the end of the show, so let's have our final thoughts.
I think it's natural. I figured I'd get that in first, Dave.
You hurt his feelings, Lloyd.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
Right now,
Oh, he's thinking of something to say back. Don't worry.
No, he doesn't take that long to think of something. He's hurt.
No, he just can't believe I said.
Look,
He can't believe I swore.
Final thoughts? We got your Lupus run
You
coming
know
up.
what? You got my numbers right. I want everybody there. I want everybody there. You've got a month of riding to get up into that day, and then we've got a whole season after. So let's all be safe out there.
And we're
Have
all-
a good time.
We're all going to go on each other's rides
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
support each other.
Hell
And
yeah.
we're going to
Absolutely.
support other rides that are also in
There's a lot of rides
H3
I'm looking forward to this year.
Lauren, final
Few.
thoughts, bud?
Great show again. Had fun participating in it,
Yep.
and I'm looking forward to many more.
Even if they were Honda guys?
No, you know what? They're not too bad. They're not
Really?
too bad guys.
You'd ride with them
I sat
again?
between them, and
You
I'm
would
still
ride-
sitting- They're both bigger than me, and I'm sitting between them. They're pretty good guys.
You would ride with them again, that's what
Oh,
you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Dave, final thoughts, bud?
Okay.
Shiny side up.
I forgot. I was gonna say something. I had it all planned, and I forgot what I was gonna say.
We'll have to get you on the
What did I
next
say earlier? Have fun and get her done.
one.
There you go.
My final thoughts are to all of you in HD-ROC and all our friends out there. May you always find happiness on your travels and safe journeys, guys, and we'll ride with you soon.
Peace.
Happy trails.
Hey, how about one of these?
Oh yeah.